to Bitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Ben Slinger, and with me, as always, is Trevor Scott.
Yes. I am here, and I am ready to talk about games and game designs that we come up with on the spot.
That's the show.
I don't know why I've gone into this lower, sexy register.
You're in radio mode. What are we doing? What are we doing this week?
I don't know. We've been playing a bit of UFO 50.
Yeah.
So I think what we need to do is, whatever we decide to do, it's going to be limited scope. Limited games. Like, for those who haven't seen UFO 50, what planet have you been living on? But UFO 50 is this amazing collection of fake games that feel like they came from the 1980s.
Real games.
Okay.
They are real games
that feel like they came from the 1980s,
Yes.
but they were developed from 2018 onwonwards.
Yes.
But there's a fake story behind how they were developed and how they worked in the system and all that sort of stuff.
That's it. They've essentially got sort of a fantasy console or set of consoles. I think there's like a few of them.
There's a few LX systems going around, yep.
And so they've limited their palette, limited their resolution. You only have a D-pad and two buttons, and they've done a hell of a lot with that. Within those limitations, it really just shows how much having some restrictions like that can kind of boost your creativity and really require that you kind of go deep on a particular, can go deep on a particular mechanic or a particular style or whatever.
I mean, we played after last week's episode that we recorded. And yeah, we played some, what was it?
It's a Bug Hunter?
Bug Hunter for 45 minutes, and we didn't even realize that's how long we were playing against each other.
One round,
and it was
one game, I mean.
So fun. Like,
yeah, it was great.
And then we played some Bushido Ball and Mortal, and one thing that I loved about Bushido Ball was this is typically just Pong. But taken to that next level of a fighting game. And, it feels like this is what you could have possibly been playing in the 1980s, but
absolutely,
it's without those things that you had back in the 1980s, like, limited number of sprites that can be displayed to the screen and all this sort of stuff. They felt like...
That's it. They've really taken the good things of that time, I think, or like... The fact that they didn't put restrictions in place, like, the way that sprites would flicker, or like if scrolling was often pretty janky and that sort of thing.
60 frames a second. They've kept some of the niceties of today's gaming, but
they still feel they've really got that the vibe of that time. Yeah,
it's like I think the best version of what you would have been playing in the 1980s.
Yeah. So I think we'll do our regular click pitch, but each game we might essentially imagine that perhaps we're developing for the LX system and try to keep the scope low and limit it a bit. So, let's go. 3, 2, 1, click.
3, 2, 1, click.
Brawl.
Coat.
Coat and brawl.
Coat, as in you put it on.
C-O-A-T. Yep.
C-O-A-T.
Okay, so Brawl gives me like Double Dragon-ish vibes, like that sort of beat 'em up. But when you said coat, I started thinking of like coats of paint.
Oh yeah.
Now there is a game in UFO 50
called
Paint Race or something. Yeah, is it Paint Race? Yeah, whatever. But there are, it's not an uncommon thing, particularly for games of those time. I feel like there are a lot of games where it was about kind of painting areas or creating areas in your color. So I kind of like the idea of a fighting game where you are also trying to maybe graffiti up a wall or something, like get your pattern on a wall, but also it's like 1v1 or 2v2.
Yeah, I like this being like a single screen sort of thing, and there's basically your paintbrush can only hold so much paint. So you've got to keep on going, running back, and you're trying to block and get as much paint onto the paintbrush as you can and put it onto the wall, and the other person is trying to block you from doing that, getting you to drop your paintbrush on the ground, which means that you got to go, get a new paintbrush, or
they can knock over your paint.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you think you're just house painters like trying to cover a wall in a paint, or is it a pattern that you're... I guess it probably makes more sense with
limitations,
actually laying on paint. Yeah.
Laying on paint. Coats of paint, and it's a brawl. So basically you're two house painters, and whoever gets the most amount of coverage gets paid. So you're like, maybe you actually just want to waste all their paint. So they actually end up, even if they do win, they're going to lose out because they're actually going to lose more money.
Because now they have to pay more paint. So maybe it's that you get paid for
however
coverage
percentage or whatever.
Yeah, you get paid a percent. So there's essentially it's like, okay, I'm going to pay $200 to get this wall painted, and I'm going to split it evenly based on who paints it.
Yeah.
And how much of your paint is on there. Because then that could be interesting to have like a buying round almost of, okay, well, you need to stock up on your paint, or you can upgrade your brush or your roller or something so you can get more paint on at once, but maybe you waste more paint that way or something, or having those sorts of balances. I think one of the keys of the key things of where UFO 50 went on this was, on a lot of these games, was diving that little bit deeper into just a fairly simple set of mechanics.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think you've got A to jump, or maybe can you even jump? Maybe it's one's paint and one is sort of
one's
like
paint
attack
and one's attack, and that depending on it's context sensitive depending on where you are. Like if you're close to the the paint can, you're going to kick it over. But if you're close to them, you're going to trip them over. So maybe it's all leg stuff. Like
it's all leg stuff. A is your arm stuff, X is your leg stuff.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to paint the back of their head, you can do that, and then they've got to spend time getting the paint out of their hair, and you can,
Right, you can paint them, and then when they paint for a little while, it contaminates with your paint.
Yeah.
So they don't get full coverage for the next...
X amount of time,
X amount of brush strokes or something, or roller.
You can pick up with your arm stuff button. You can pick up your bit of paint and just splash it on the wall by using the arm stuff button.
You waste a lot, but I love the idea of going into the controls and it's like A, arm stuff, X, leg stuff.
Yeah. Then you're like, leg stuff for a paint game.
I mean, that could still be jumping if you could get the context sensitivity in there, if you're not near anything, maybe you jump. Or you hold it down to charge a jump or something. Because you may, this. I feel like
jumping
situations where you're trying to. Well, that's what I mean. If you're trying to reach the high spots, right?
Yeah.
But you got to jump to get there.
Yeah.
So it's like leg stuff, like maybe
and
hold down leg stuff to get up,
yeah.
and then arm stuff while you're in the air.
Yeah.
And then later on, hand stuff. But that's that's off screen.
Yeah, that's well off screen. That's the mini game that happens in between, the hot coffee mode, as it were.
Then the controls switch to hand stuff and mouth stuff.
So
for drinking coffee,
yes,
right. Hand stuff to bring it up to your mouth.
Yeah,
mouth stuff to sip.
So,
get your mind out of
with what we did last week, I'm gonna call for something now. I'm gonna call for a scene.
Okay. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, because
forgot we might do this.
Yeah. So, you're a painter, I'm a painter.
Okay. What are you this is my wall.
No, Keith. I saw this on Craigslist.
Terrence?
And they said they're looking for a painter. And I'm a painter.
Yeah, but it was first come, first served.
Yeah, well, You saw that I had my car parked. I was just on the phone with my wife.
I did see that you had your car parked, and
it's right out the front.
I decided to waste a little bit of my paint, I might just say.
What? You didn't, did you? Not for the Hyundai.
Oh wait, shit! I thought you had a Toyota.
No, that's my wife's car. I have mine.
Fuck. Well, someone with a Toyota is going to be wondering why they've got the word prick painted on the side of their car.
Oh, I saw that car. Ooh, yeah. Looks something like my. I've got a Toyota Corolla.
I'm a painter. I'm not a fucking car guy, Terrence. Okay. So, are you going to get out of the way so I can paint this wall and get paid, or what?
Yeah, I'll get out of your way.
Awesome. Great. Yeah. Thank you. Let me just open my paint can here.
Flash.
Oh, fuck. You got paint in my paint?
Yeah, I got paint.
You paint in my paint?
Paint in your paint.
Paint in the paint.
Paint in your paint.
Fuck, this paint's useless as paint. How am I going to paint with my paint when you got paint in my paint?
Easy. Like this. See?
Oh,
I reckon there's about $5 worth of paint there. Hey, mate,
have you...
You mind paying for coverage? Yeah, right. That sounds good.
Fine. Well, lucky for him. Lucky for him, I bought the ultra wide last week. I don't know. I haven't seen you with an ultra wide.
No, okay. But I've got the roller. Fuck you.
One paint, that's right.
You got paint in my eye, you bastard.
Suck it. Oh, shit. Damn it. I breathed some in. No, you don't understand. I'm allergic to pain.
Okay, let me give you the Heimlich.
Good. Coverage.
Ew. Actually, it's made a nice pattern.
Yeah, it's good. I won't have to go into avant-garde art.
Well, I'm going to go do some mouth stuff on some coffee. You want to join me?
I'd love to mouth a coffee. See. And that's how the game will play out.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the opening cutscene. I mean
that's what you voicing the characters. It can be like that. You know, you can come up with this whole story about, you know, Terrence having his supposed car being painted with the word prick on it.
Well, again, though, like in the UFO 50 style, you're generally not going to have like fully voiced, but you'll have the nice little 8-bit style, 16-bit style images coming up in the cutscene,
and you can give any story you want to them.
Yeah,
that's the beauty about this sort of game. Anyway, 3 to 1 click.
Yeah. Hippie
Clinic.
I mean, that's just the name of the game.
I mean, it's Hippie Clinic.
Hippie Clinic. I'd play Hippie Clinic.
I'd play Hippie Clinic.
I don't know what it is yet.
Well,
something to do with flowers and weed.
Clinic, Dr. Mario, that kind of works. Okay. So,
yeah.
You know,
you
effectively
have to line up the strains of weed to...
I mean, that makes sense.
Give to the right... for the right symptoms.
Sense. Yeah, exactly. Different strains of weed for different symptoms.
Different strains for different strokes.
Exactly. Well, not strokes. We can't be dealing with, like...
Oh, no more hand stuff.
No.
Mouth stuff only when it comes to weed.
Not head stuff.
Head shop. Well, head shop. That's where you get your paraphernalia, right?
God.
I'm not a drug guy. I'm a painter.
Yeah. But yeah, I do like the idea of, you know, basically each level you're filling someone's like medicine cup and just putting the different strains of weed and trying to Tetris all the pieces in there.
Well, and again, I'm serious when I'm not a drug guy, but I'm like, you've got the leaves, you've got the buds. They come in different sizes, right? Isn't that how that works? So you got to fit them in there.
I'm not a drug guy at all. I don't understand how any of this works.
Maybe it's gummies. Yeah.
I'm a goody two-shoes.
You're a good boy.
Goody two-shoes.
I've only tried once or twice. It's not a thing in my 40 odd years that has really.
Well, obviously, it's more of a thing than it was for me. I've never even smoked.
Very slightly.
My only vice was I drank for a little bit. during my teens. And that was at your place most of the time.
Bad influence.
You're just a bad influence on me.
Yeah.
Remember that we nearly set fire to your bungalow at one stage.
Glad we didn't. I don't remember that. How did... Let's not go.
That was hairspray, a lighter, and a spider.
Oh, my God. That's because there was a spider. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, that's fair. Like, there's that whole joke of, just burn
I said hairspray, but no, it was deodorant. It was deodorant.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. That's much more likely for me to have than hairspray.
Even though now you have very long hair. You didn't need hairspray at the time.
I do. I don't need hairspray now, but I have the hair to do something with it.
Yes, if you wanted to.
Give it that volume.
Yes.
Okay, so hippie clinic.
Yeah. So I think it's kind of like Tetris, but you're not trying to actually, well, I say Tetris, but kind of like Dr. Mario as well. But you're not really wiping out lines. What you're trying to do is get the most in there.
It's like packing it
in, but things are dropping down. So you're not clearing any lines out. What you're doing is this is the next shape. You've got to try and fit it in there and get the most amount of coverage of the medicine bottle.
And then when you fill it, when it crosses a line, essentially, it goes over to the next bottle.
It goes it goes out to the customer. And to the customer. The next customer's
Yes,
thing.
that's what I mean. So do you think, then I think what we need then is effects between different types that if you put them next to each other, or if you if you manage to put like a whole bunch of the one type down in one corner, like you get combo bonuses or something like that, right? Yeah. You want to then be able to also strategize
potency bonuses.
Yes, that's good. And then potentially having something where it matches the customer in some way too.
Yeah, exactly.
Where it's like, oh, okay, this person's really into edibles.
So therefore, shove a whole heap of brownies in there. Like, they're going to love that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then maybe you can, maybe you can have some transformations happening or something where if you do match certain things up, they like in a certain shape or something, they switch into, a bunch of gummies turn into a brownie if you make it into a square or something, and then you get them,
Yeah, I love that. But the thing is, you can get some adverse effects as well. Like,
yes.
You as much as that T shape would fit really well in this hole, that T shape consists of 3 gummies and
it consists of
bud.
that joint,
and you never want that anywhere near the what's it called? Shit, I can't.
Give me your best.
I can't think of the drug that. LSD. That's what I was trying to think of.
Right.
You can't put it near the LSD because it'll taint the bud.
Because it'll leach into
Yeah.
What was the Seth Rogen movie where they had the Jesus joint or whatever, or the
Pineapple Express?
Was it Pineapple Express? I thought it was Pineapple Express. Yeah. So you got one of those. That's a particular shape, right? Yeah. That's what I was thinking when you said the T shape. You got to fit that in there. But yeah, if you put it next to the LSD, it'll leach into the joint, the rolling paper, and you'll have a really bad trip.
Really bad trip. And thing is, you get little vignettes at the end of each day. It's kind of like...
It's kind of like one of those cooking games or something, maybe, or where it's satisfied customers, but you'll get such and such had a bad trip because of this particular effect.
And it's like the end of those movies where they're like, let's catch up with all these people that we've met over this entire movie. It's like such and such is now doing.
You get a little screenshot of that person. Yeah, Kevin had a bad trip and fell into the gorilla cage at the zoo.
Yeah. Those sort of
things. He's
things.
now married to Coco. They have 3 wonderful children. Adopted, of course. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Jesus. No, that is not my word. Jury.
Okay. Physique.
Okay. Jury physique.
This is like a buff courtroom. Like a Swole.
Yeah. Okay. I love that
Judge
idea.
Judge Swole Buffman.
Judge Swole Buffman. That's so good. Okay. For some reason, when you said that, I'm thinking, okay, California games. how can we, you know, put some...
Do those sort of mini games, but into a courtroom?
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. I like that. So like maybe jury selection?
Yeah, is a mini game.
Something around, you're like flipping jury members into the jurors box.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking, you know, it's all about sort of like, you know, you're doing one of those, I don't know, card throwing games where you're just throwing cards trying to get them into the hat. And it's like the ones that go into the hat, they end up on your jury and all that sort of stuff.
Well, but I think there's got to be some strategy for it because like often you'll want to veto certain jurors, right? And you get a certain number or something.
Yeah.
So that can, you've got like 2 seconds where you can see a little bit about how they might, you know, some information that might tell you how they're gonna react to your case, and you have to decide whether to flip them into the jury box or just aim for the trash.
Yeah.
But then it's about like you power it up and you have to launch it across. Yeah.
Yep. So one of the things
that's
that this judge needs like everyone in their courtroom to be, you know, tight,
buff.
like fucking buff. So you play one of the lawyers, but you're like you got to spend your time lifting weights. And so if you're in the courtroom, like there's mini games of how many times can you pick up your briefcase and, you know, just biceps curl.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I like that. A little bit of plate spinning of, you can be like talking to the jury, lifting your briefcase,
squeezing one of those little,
like a stress ball thing or something.
I was thinking of those hand exercise things with the really tight coiled spring that you know, you're cranking on them for a little while. You've got
different things will give you
a really heavy water bottle that you can just bicep curl a few times. And
but I think different things you do will affect your standing with both the jury and the judge and like the other lawyers or something like that. You know, certain ones are more surreptitious. But you know, the judge, if you're working out a lot, the judge is actually going to be more in your favor, but the jury might think you're, you know, not paying enough attention to the case or something.
Yeah. But the thing is, you can't just do the left all the time. So you got to be able to swap it over to the right because you need to keep them even.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely. I think you've got like maybe bailiff dodging or something as one of them. Maybe a bit of a super punch out, like a punch out type game against the bailiff when you are held in contempt of court. But if you beat the bailiff, then you get away with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's a different bailiff each court case. So I think there's kind of like just random court cases.
Yeah. You just have certain.
There was something about, you know, California games and winter games and summer games. I think there were a whole heap by Epics that were really. I played so many hours of those games. Like,
I think it was just, again, each of them was very simple, but there was a level.
Fucking
some of them at
sack.
least. Some of them had a level of mastery to them, right? Where, just getting because hacky sack was mostly about timing, right? Because it was that you could kick like left, right, or center. Like, was it just you had
because you had to? Some of them went over your head, and then you could headbutt them, and you could like knee it and foot it and all this sort of stuff.
Well, this is what I mean. They had quite a lot of depth to some of those. So, I
remember
feel
the
like
game that you threw the frisbee and the dog.
Oh, the dog had to catch it. Yeah,
had to catch it, and it's like, God, like
I remember roller skating,
BMX.
Well, I think roller skating I didn't play much because the version I had, if you played it, it would crash because it was pirated and it was probably some fucking CRC error or something, or like whatever.
I put so many hours into BMX just trying to get the you know, the some sort of flip to land perfectly, and I never could.
Surfing.
Oh my God, yes.
For me, I love the animation when you'd go over the back way.
Yeah. But but jury-based stuff. But jury-based stuff. Exactly. Yeah. You're surfing, but it's like
surfing on the press.
I mean, hell.
The press gaggle outside and you have to like surf across them and not fall in to get swarmed by microphones and cameras.
You could just do this as, you know, this is California juries and, you know, depending on what court you're in, like this may be surfing court, so therefore your jury, they're on
wait, so now the specific cases in court are based on
against
the sports
different people
in California games.
One is just a whole heap of dog owners, and you got to throw the frisbee.
Well, I feel like that is like serving papers. You're like serving papers to people. You have to get the names right.
Yeah, serving jury duty notices.
Yeah. So you go all the steps. Serving jury duty notices, like jury selection. You've got the court case. You've got your bailiff dodging. You've got some sort of like judge seduction, meaning
but only mouth stuff. As in talking.
Yeah, talking. Yeah. The only hand stuff is flexing. Because
exactly.
This is still
and bicycle
physique, physique based. Okay. I love it. 3, 2, 1, click. Irritability.
Mouse
irritability.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Love it.
I'm thinking... I went to like a side on Donkey Kong-esque or what are some of those other games from that era?
Popeye.
Maybe like a Dig Dug-ish sort of thing.
Dig Dug. Yes. Fuck yes. Dig Dug. I fucking love it.
So I like the idea maybe of a mouse trying to get into houses by digging holes, digging
and to get under and the different things that they've got to deal with under the house.
Under the house, yeah, that could be cool because then it's like okay, you dig up into the fridge, you get a bunch of points. You dig up into crumbs under the bed. All right, pick up a bunch of points there. If you're dealing with cockroaches,
break into the wrong thing, all of a sudden you're going to let the termites out and they're going to fucking swarm you. And
the cat, you're going to come across the cat.
But I love the idea of this sort of Dig Dug like thing, but unlike Dig Dug where you could see where all the monsters actually were and see the sort of things. You just had to go by feel. Like,
oh, okay. I like the idea then that maybe it's done in layers. Because again, the simplifying it, right?
Yeah.
You've got like the sort of a dirt layer, you've got a subfloor layer of some sort, and then you've got the actual just in the house layer that's at the top.
Which can also have some in-wall stuff, like, that you can deal with.
Yeah, okay. And then I'm thinking it's side-scrolling to the right, but not forced scroll, just you're digging however you want to dig. And then, strategically... But what I was going to say is you can only get visibility into whatever section you're in. So you don't know if there's termites in the subfloor in this area until you dig up into it. It's like, oh shit, now I've got to deal with this. You don't know if the cat's up there.
And the thing is, you only know, like, if you dig into the subfloor underneath say the lounge room, like, you're going to be locked in by the wall, so you can only see stuff in this part of the subfloor. But if you went into the bathroom, maybe that's where the termites are and all this sort of stuff. Like,
so I think you could essentially randomly generate sort of
parts of the house. Yeah.
And that are okay. We've got a bathroom section, a living room section, a bedroom section that define kind of where some walls are, and what sorts of treats and enemies you're going to find there.
Yeah,
and then it's just get your highest score. Keep going.
Yeah.
Get your highest score. Maybe you have a section.
You've got to make sure that you get your health by eating some more food. So now, okay, I'm looking for the kitchen. I'm looking for this. I'm trying to,
Yeah, maybe you're
not going to find food in the bathroom, but you might find it in the bedroom. So,
and that's it. You again, because you don't know what's above there, all you see is you can maybe sense like, okay, I'm under a house. Because I was thinking, okay, maybe you've got some other areas that's like between houses where it's just open to the air. Then you're dealing with fucking owls and shit, right?
Yeah.
But they're sort of, few and far in between of traveling between the houses. And then you're just like, all right, I'm under a house. All right, shit, I need health. I'm going to dig up and hope, you don't know what room you're above until maybe when you get to the subfloor, you can see, okay, this is probably a
I see it drain. I'm in some sort of wet area.
Yeah. I like that. I can see how you could add some good depth to that while still keeping it, pretty simple.
Yeah. As you're traveling, my mind has just gone to like the Atari 2600 and their shitty overworld sort of things like E.T. or fucking Superman. That is so fucking bad in the fact that the overworld is sort of like this simple fucking layer that you can fall into a hole, and then when you fall into the hole, you go like try and get out and all these sort of things. It was just God.
Yeah, that could be interesting. Maybe that's even how you go between houses.
Fucking crazy.
It could be that between houses is an overworld sort of thing, and it's just needlessly difficult. You'll just have, like you will, if you're anywhere near a tree, there's the possibility of an owl coming out, grabbing you before you before you can get away from it, and then you lose life. But that's part of the era of games. Yeah.
Okay, let's go one more game.
All right. 3, 2, 1, click. Fabrication.
Perception. I don't know why, but my mind went straight away to Minesweeper.
Okay.
So, because of perception. And I don't know why, but I want to see. You played the Minesweeper, but it's like an old school,
first person.
Well, no, old school 3D adventure game like a Sierra one.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yep.
And the idea that during the game, one of the things is you can sweep for mines, and then you can plant your flag down, and that's that's one of your verb things that you can do, and you're effectively,
So is the gameplay Minesweeper then, or is this a story-based thing?
A story-based thing that also includes some minesweeping parts. Like, it just so happens that you get into a new room and it's like, hang on, you gotta be careful in here. Like, there could be mines in here. Let me just tap in this corner.
You're in like a McDonald's.
Let me just tap in this corner, and it opens up, and like
it opens up
all
and
these
shows
numbers.
you the edges.
All these fucking numbers come up. It's like, oh, okay. You got to solve a Minesweeper puzzle, and like, oh, I reckon there's one here. Put a flag.
How could you translate? I mean, it's hilarious having it as literally a diegetic part of the world. Like, you're seeing, like, he sees those numbers on physical things.
There's a possibility that this touches two minds, I think.
How does that work when it's like a person? It's like this person has minds on two of their sides.
They're just they're tuned into like the world, and they kind of see it like, they're the mind whisperer. Like that.
Is it actual minds then, or is it a metaphor for like
it's
things
actual
that could
mimes?
It's Minesweeper. All these mimes hidden in plain sight. They're not dressed.
They're just hidden as chairs and shit, but they're in the shape of a chair.
It's like, pretty sure there's a mime here, flag.
And it's like, you got me. It's like,
you don't know. You don't know until you've cleared it, right?
Until you see the wagging finger at you, and they start getting blown away by the wind that doesn't actually exist. God.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous, and that's where we're going to end tonight.
That's where we're going to end it. So
I don't know
thank
why
you for
that came
joining
to my
us.
mind, but
that's fine. That's all. I think there are a lot of things we could do with Minesweeper. I think we could come back to Minesweeper as a general mechanic.
Yeah.
For other things. But for now, let's leave it at Minesweeper and
name of the episode, I mean.
So thank you for joining us this week on Bitstorm. If you would like to find our previous episodes, go to podchaser.com/Bitstorm. You can find them all there. Give them a listen, shoot them us a review. All of season 1 is up there. Complete. The complete season 1 box set.
Yes.
Available.
Available on DVD from Netflix.
Digital only. Yeah, well, I mean, if you want to pay us for it, we can probably get you a physical, I'll go and buy a DVD burner, put a bunch of audio on there for you. If you pay me enough. Yeah.
If you like the song that we play at the start and end of each episode, that song is called Mount Defiance off of the album Containment Failure by the band Dust. It wasn't the first song that we ever played on this show.
No.
It turns out that I listened back and I'm like, oh shit, that's...
Do we have Heavy Space?
I'm pretty sure it was Heavy Space, and that was from the first Dust album.
Yes.
You can find that and the one from Containment Failure, Mount Defiance, which is what we currently play. You can find that on the internet at kuradust.bandcamp.com. Both of them are available there. The Reinitialized, which was the first... Well, Initialized was the first. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. You'll figure it out.
Heavy Space. Yeah, one of the songs.
Surf the internet superhighway. And is that what they... Yeah. Anyway, check it out. So, yeah, thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott. You got paint in my paint.
You got paint in my paint.
You got paint in my paint in my paint.
How am I supposed to paint? There's paint in my paint. Paint in my paint. Paint in my paint.
You got paint on my paint.